bunch of rotation, and all you have to do is remember the number 10. So we're going to start, my palm goes backwards, and I'm going to reach as high as I can. And what I'm trying to do is get the shoulder into a stable position, or a closed end range position, and spend as much time there as I can before I need to turn. And then I'm going to watch my hand, palm is always scooping, and I'm trying to reach behind me and swoop down. So the goal here is to get that scapula to elevate so that I can have this clean dissociation between arm and body. Reach behind, and I'm trying to make a gigantic wheel. Notice I keep the palm scooping as long as I can, and then I'll surrender the position and reach into the back seat. Quit fighting back there, kids. Again, the goal is to try to get as much elevation as you can. So your PR idea is how high can I get the fingers each time? Fingers up, reach. Feel yourself lengthening from the hip. Be as large and exaggerated as you can in this position, and do not shave off the top. The magic is happening back in these really weird nether ranges. This is an important position to live in. So we do 10 of these spins. We go the other direction, and now my emphasis is going to be pushing the hand off the body. How far can I protract that scapula? So palms. Scooping, turn, reach back, and then get that hand out. Reach back, get that hand off the body, play around with your different rotations, but keep adding that rotational component where you're having to reach and make a decision and then get the arm off the body here. So I'm just swooping, arm off the body, reach and exaggerate. Notice that my body turns, I'm not rigid. That's absolutely okay. We're tying the arm back into the whole trunk system here. A little bit of body English is appropriate. Then when we go to the other side, we do 10 on this side, same thing. This time reaching up. I'll do less talking, more moving. Get the hand elevated, scoop into that back corner. And for many of our athletes, this is the only time they ever spend back here ever. They've never spent back there. So at least we're touching that position. We're minding the tissues they're going to need to end up in that shape at some point in life. And I'm practicing winding up and keeping that. Elbow stays straight. Long lever rotation is the game. Then we're going to go the other direction and scoop and reach. Reach. Feel back there. We like to think the rotator cuff is like hard-packed earth. It takes a minute for blood flow to get into the rotator cuff. We want to perfuse these tissues, take the tissues to their complicated end ranges, right? So we go 10 forward, 10 back, left and right, and we go to our next piece. And what I like to do next is just some big side lateral movements. I'm going to start to tie the wrist in, palm goes to the top, and I'm going to keep my feet straight. I'm going to try to push my hip over to the side as far as I can. So I'm thinking about pushing the hip over. It's kind of like a yoga pose, a little more dynamic. Pulling the hand, and notice the wrists, how they're flicking into these positions. Also, I start to tie this whole system all the way to the foot, and I'm trying to get a lot of motion through my heels here. So I'm pushing to the side. Imagine staying in 2 planes of glass. What's that look like to push over? Open up the armpit, feel that rib. 10 each side. I can exaggerate certain aspects, try to tie the whole system together. And once we hit 10 and 10, we're going to switch to a little front and back. So in this position now, I'm working on this extension position, which is our long lever press shape, and I'm working on trying to flick the wrists. So hitting back, taking that shoulder to end range, like a big leg swing, except for my shoulders, and notice what's happening in the wrist. This is a position of pretty high neural tension, and I'm trying to wind up so my nervous system goes, oh, no problem. You're going to hit this position, and we're going to be ready for it. If one of these shapes becomes interesting to you, it's okay to spend more time than 10. You may need 15, you may want 20, it feels good, certain position. Once we're into that shape, we move into our Michael Phelpsing. Palm goes back, and what I'm trying to do is squeeze and add that rotation at the end, because this is a position of very high neural tension. So I'm just working on getting nerves flossing, hitting myself, trying to pull those wrists back, repair the wrists and the nerves and the tissues, tying the arm into the hand and tying the hand into the body. From this position, we're going to turn and do a little internal rotation, which is what we call my grandmother at the bus stop in San Francisco. And what I'm trying to do here is get my hand up my back. And if this looks like Qigong, right, if this looks like Tai Chi, it's not an accident. These are positions that make a difference. And what I'm really trying to do here is get comfortable bringing the hand across the body, touching that position. I'm also trying to get the hand to come up my back. And if you know FMS, what we're trying to do is work on this back scratch position. Notice that I twist my body a little bit. That's okay. But the goal is to try to hit some internal rotation on this shoulder in sort of this rhythmic way. Hit my back. Can I reach my bra strap every time? Right? When I'm doing this, my right side's a little more restricted than my left side. Gives me some information. Hitting this side, and we're going to finish with some rotations. And what I'm going to do first is rotate, but I'm really looking at limited by how far I can turn by what's happening at the hip. So I'm adding a whole bunch of rotation at the hip. I release the leg, trying to wind that up, and it feels like, wow, the hip ends up being the limiter in my thoracic rotation. Once again, we have to think about what's happening at the shoulder and the hip, and we're going to talk about what's happening at the spine. So if I'm really restricted here, can't rotate, don't practice rotating, all of my rotation has to come to my spine. I think if you're a golfer, this really matters. Then, I'm going to worry about that less. I'm going to pull the hand across, and I'm going to think about getting my hand out as far as I can in front of me. What I'm trying to do here is pull that scapula off the body. Palm is in this external rotated position, touching each one of these corners, and that is our basic shoulder spin up. 10 rotations, 10 efforts in every position. Takes a couple minutes, and you're going to see, wow, I thought it was really stiff, but it turns out it wasn't. We took the arms into a whole bunch of radical and complicated shapes.